So today I'm going to be telling you all about why the early years of the American Republic are, well, my favorite period of history. As in a few short years, my favorite period has to be the modern period. That is from 1492, modern period and a bit prior to that and a bit posterior to that. Not the contemporary one. I love the contemporary period. It's just that post-medieval 15th, 18th century, like that period I love. But in terms of short periods of history, it has to be the early years of the American Republic. In my defense, okay, I first really got into this period after watching the musical Hamilton. And I feel really bad whenever I say that because people are going to think, oh my god, she just likes Hamilton and doesn't really know about it. And that's not true. Rather than becoming obsessed with the musical, I've become obsessed with the historical period. And let me tell you, it is the best. So, Revolutionary War is sad, which is pretty cool, but not what I'm interested in. We start at the Constitutional Convention. The Declaration of Independence is kind of cool, but let's start with the Constitutional Convention. Well, first we have George Washington going there like, sure, I'll preside over it, but I'm not entirely convinced in this. I don't want to, not convinced, how do I say this? He didn't really want to be presiding in it. He was chosen president against his will, and I heard somewhere like on a podcast that when he was going down to New York, because that's where they had the presidential inaugural ceremonies and the voting thing, before he felt like he was like being marched to his death. And yeah, so first you have Washington's reluctance to be president, even though he did it. And then you have, the other part of the Constitutional Convention. It literally reads like a who's who of American history. Pretty much like the Declaration of Independence. That's really similar. But you have Ben Franklin, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and a lot of other figures. But what's kind of cool is who's not there. You have John Adams. You have Thomas Jefferson, who weren't there. Also who's there? James Madison. Pretty sure James Monroe was there too. It's literally who's who of early American history. It's quite cool. And then you have the building of the American Republic. You have the drama, which is my favorite part. I've read a lot about Hamilton. I'm reading the Ron Chernow biography. I have barely anything left. I love it. Highly recommend it. Not because of the musical, because of the historical side. And oh my god, my favorite part has to be either the Reynolds affair or the drama between Hamilton and Jefferson. The Reynolds affair, I made a video on it. It is by far the best singular event in history. Like, how could this one guy who was insanely smart fall victim to such a scam? Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. The main thing I like about Hamilton in this period, it's not what he did as Treasury Secretary or anything. It's the drama with Jefferson. The drama these two guys had literally changed American politics. Starting with the interpretation of the Constitution, following on to Hamilton's obsession with the Federalist Papers, then Hamilton's creation of the Federalist Party. Jefferson saying, you're doing that. Oh, and creating the Republican Party, and then calling it the Democratic Republican Party. And, of course, the disagreements with the French Revolution. Citizen Guinea, and that whole deal. And it's just, no you, no you, no you. And I was reading the part where it's 1795 and 1793. Yeah, 1793. And both of them hate each other, but they both kind of want to leave their jobs because they don't want to deal with each other, but they also don't want to leave their jobs. So it's kind of a game of chicken, like who's going to, you know, who's going to give up first. And Hamilton wins that round because Jefferson eventually drops out of being Secretary of State. And then 2 years later, Hamilton himself quits from being Secretary of Treasury in 1795, prior to the Adams presidency. And yeah. Then, my other favorite part, jumping on a few years, is the whole Burr thing. Not the duel, I mean, the duel is kind of awesome, but it's the duel with, not the duel, the, what Burr did after the duel. I think people, because of the musical, think of Burr as the villain. People who don't read apart from the music, like people just watch it and just take it as fact. No. I'm not saying that Burr wasn't a villain. He was, but Hamilton was too. I mean, the stuff he did in terms of Wall Street, he didn't have slaves, but Jefferson makes some good points. He used the Wall Street as kind of his own advantage, kind of. And the Whiskey Rebellion was kind of caused by Hamilton. Anyway, but no, what I'm saying. Burr, he gets a really bad rap. He was no angel. But after 1804, after the duel, and after Hamilton kept on pushing him in his efforts to rise politically, they were being shut down, he thought, hey, I would just conquer Texas or Mexico. Because why not? I'm not kidding, look it up. He tried to conquer Texas and or Mexico. Like, I'm not even talking about too far into American history. It's literally 20 years after the Republic was formed. 20 years. Another thing I love about this period is the yellow fever. Not the disease itself, but the way it influenced American politics. Because it kind of stopped everything. It took over Philadelphia, which at that moment was where the government was based. And people like Alexander Hamilton, they got the disease. And it kind of made the government shut down for the first time. And the impact it had, I mean, it really reflects on the COVID situation. And yeah. And moving a bit further on, we have the War of 1812, sure. But I'm ignoring I'm cutting the line 1824. Why am I cutting the line 1824, apart from it being 50 years, around that time? The election between JQA and Andrew Jackson has to be my favorite election in American history. In terms of the drama. Because this period is all about drama. I don't know if you've noticed. And I'm more on that a bit later. But you have two people who belong to the same political party fighting each other in terms of votes. And Andrew Jackson, he wins the popular vote. He wins the electoral vote. But because of JQA's connections, he wins the presidency. And that causes a split in political situation in the US at the time, leading to the political parties we have now. And talking about elections, you have my favorite election in American history. That is the election of 1792. No, my favorite election in terms of political situation, I do mean the election of 1824, I think it is. So Jefferson, he leaves office in 1808. That's In terms of events leading up to the election, it has to be 1792. I mean, the election of 1800 is cool but overhyped. The election of 1792, in terms of prior to the election, has to be my favorite because Washington, I told you already, he didn't want to be president, but he'd stuck for 4 years. Sure, all was good, all was fun, but he was fed up. So he thought about leaving office. But here you have Hamilton, who was basically Washington's confidant, and told him, hey, I have a little bit of a problem. I'm really relying on you to keep my position here. And Jefferson, he kind of hates me. And if you leave, I'm going to be alone. So can you please don't leave and I can keep my position? Good, sound good. And at the same time, you have Jefferson begging Washington to stay because, oh my God, I cannot stand this Hamilton guy. If you leave, I'm gonna rip his throat and the country's gonna be in chaos because it's gonna be divided, factionalized. That was the word I was looking for. It's gonna be factionalized. Civil War, maybe, and we don't want that, right? So here you have Hamilton and Jefferson both agreeing on something for a period in their lives, and that is Washington needed to stay for the good of the country. Washington's like, I don't want it. Sure, I'll do it. But yeah. So in a really quick summary that I'm not even going to take a long time to talk about, the singular reason why I love my favorite period of history is the early years of the American Republic is the drama. I mean, the politics as well, but the drama. The drama in this period is intense. I am surprised no one has made a TV show on it. Because, oh my God, that would sell so well. If done properly. Can you imagine, drama with the Founding Fathers? You had the whole issue of slavery at that time. Okay. Not really at the center of American politics. That is more in the 1860s and that time, yeah, Almanac created equal life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I say it that way because of the musical, but it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's Thomas Jefferson's words. Who also invented the swivel chair, which is kind of cool. But anyway, and I'll leave it there. I don't think I've explained myself correctly, but I just want to say that I love the drama and the politics in this period. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it interesting, and yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.